Good afternoon, Braveheart world. I'm Sharon and this is Sandra, and we are hosting today for the New World Practitioners live Q&A. Daryl is out of town, and so we are the people for today. Sure and steady.
Sure and steady, your connection of Sharon and Sandra for the day.
SNS. You have the SNS today. So let's talk a little bit about Daryl's week last week in regards to some of the shows that he did and the interviews.
Jam-packed week.
Jam-packed week.
You could spend probably a couple of weeks going through those and picking them apart with a notepad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I believe that he did 4 or 5 shows in one day.
Yeah.
and did interviews, and it was really amazing. So one of the individuals that he ended up interviewing was Richard in regards to the C60.
Yeah.
Which Richard has this technique of creating this centrifuge and the ability, it's a patented technique that is in an FDA approved facility. So we can actually say that we have the best C60 in the world.
Absolutely.
He not only has this patented process as far as actually creating a centrifuge within a darkened region for about 2 weeks and the FDA approved facility, but he also infuses the C60 with a love frequency. He has these amplifiers that actually are a specific type of amplification. And he's actually going to send us, I believe he did actually send it on the show. I never ended up seeing it. But it actually sends that love frequency while this C60 is being produced. C60 is a free radical scavenger. It's the best free radical, it's the most powerful free radical scavenger that you can actually consume. It's 250 times the potency of vitamin C. So C60 vibrates at such a high level. It's the highest vibration molecule on Earth. And what it actually does, because the smallest element known to mankind is actually hydrogen. And space is made up of the hydrogen molecule. And we're made up of hydrogen and oxygen. What, 85%? We're water. And so what actually happens is that C60, which is the highest vibration molecule on Earth, vibrates to the level of the hydrogen molecules within our ether. So we can actually, by consuming the C60, we can actually vibrate our bodies to connect to the ether. Divine infinity.
Isn't this just amazing? I mean, C60 is so incredible in itself, and the way I've explained it is that being that it's carbon in nature, it has a bits of all the elements on Earth on it. But then physically, imagine that molecule, 60 carbon molecules bonded, and just try to think of this, you know, in a visual sense, and how many connections are made crossways. Tetrahedrons and triangles, and that helps the molecule spin and create its own energy. That's why when people are chronically ill, they can take this in, because it doesn't need any of your own energy to make use of it. So how incredible just to keep learning and learning about this C60 and the ether, and then the love frequency added in. I mean, is it not good enough? So
yeah,
this is what Daryl Wolf does for the world. He finds a product, and that's great, and then he says, "And can you do better yet again? Thank you very much."
Isn't that the truth?
Isn't that it? Yeah.
And that is about health, because we are electromagnetic energy light beings.
Yeah.
And it's all about vibration.
Yeah.
And so now when you start infusing these high vibrational nutraceuticals into the body,
Yeah.
it's just like layer upon layer. And it just, how good can it get?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's do the love frequency.
Let's just throw one more thing in there.
Exactly.
Yay.
So somebody was asking Carrie, is it the coconut one, or they are all vibrating at that level? So there's the 3 different C60s. There's the MCT oil.
Two difference.
What's that?
2 different ones. This
there's
is
the
just
hemp
the
and
this
then
is
the
just a
olive.
package for people who want to use it for skincare. We packaged, or Daryl packaged one with a pump bottle for skincare. So your hemp and your MCT is the 2 different kinds, and then a pump bottle for anybody who wants to use it on their skin.
We also have the olive oil.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay.
Not anymore.
So we don't actually have.
There you go.
Okay. Well, I learned something new. So we have the 2 of them.
On the order desk you go, girl.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do that in my spare time.
Yeah.
And actually, what's really good about the hemp, and I can understand why Daryl decided to just go with the hemp and the MCT, because the MCT is good in the skin as well as internally, and then the hemp actually affects our endocannabinoid system, which is the lipid system within our spinal fluid. And so it actually fires up our spinal fluid along with, so the combination of the 2, taking the ideal dosage is 2 teaspoons of the coconut oil per day, and then 2 teaspoons of the C60 hemp. And so you're actually getting the best of both worlds. And you hold it underneath your tongue until it goes to a liquid, because it's all about assimilation within the body.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is very important to focus on holding it there until it does feel very liquidy.
Yeah. And how can you get, somebody was asking, John was asking about how do you get C60. You can go to the docofdetox.com and you can go in and you can look up the various products that Daryl has under the shop.
Yeah, it'll be in its own category.
Yeah, in its own category. And so it's, I mean, every cell replaces itself every 7 years. And so what the C60 does is it actually creates the perfect cell. You're removing, you're bringing down all the free radicals, and so any kind of toxins in the body is actually free radicals, and so it scavenges those free radicals. And when you're talking about viral infections, there's actually no such thing as a viral infection. It's actually the waste of the cells that are infecting the body emotionally and physically. So these cells will no longer be sick, and they will actually rejuvenate themselves, and so you actually have youthful, rejuvenated cells. Now, how beautiful is that? It'll youth.
Anything neurological, it's really going to help. I mean, right away it goes in and gives the nervous system a nice gentle coating. So it's going to help regenerate your eyesight, better thinking, anything neurological. So it's amazing. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And then when you're talking about the telomeres, which every cell has a telomere on it, and as we age, the telomeres get shorter. But not only do the telomeres get shorter, is that it actually creates an aging process. It reduces the amount of stem cells that are being produced by the body. So what the C60 does, as far as the rejuvenation of the cell, is it lengthens those telomeres. And so then we can actually produce more stem cells, and we can reverse the signs of aging. We can reverse the aging process. So come to the Doc of Detox.
Multi-benefits.
Yeah, exactly. And so please ask any questions that you have out there, because this is actually about you.
Yeah. One question from Leslie: does it go rancid? I suppose if you're going to leave it out in heat, any product is going to go rancid. So if you're in an area of extreme heat, do take caution.
Well, Richard actually mentioned that in the show.
Good.
He said that it will last for 5 years.
There you
that
go.
they've tested it. So you can right now, is there still the sale on the Doc of Detox?
Yes, until Monday night at midnight, next Monday, the 11th.
Okay, so next Monday at midnight, and so you can actually stock up on it. And like I said, it will last for 5 years.
Yep, and this is a big sale, 20% off. So don't miss out, guys.
No.
Yeah. And just from an order desk perspective, there was some emails went out that talked about our root protection. So I'm just going to throw this in here right now. Do please put that on. It's approximately 2% of your order. But shippers are just struggling to really make and honor their commitments that they've made. And so if you put the root protection on, it's strictly basically an insurance policy on your order. If it's lost or damaged or stolen, you go back to the original email that you've gotten from Root. There'll be a link down at the bottom. It says start an issue, report your claim. And as soon as your product gets shipped, you will get a confirmation, you will get an email stating the time frames that you need to make those claims in. So each different situation has a different time frame. So please just stay up on that, because we are getting so popular. There's just no way that we could replace every order that something goes wrong, because unfortunately different systems are getting challenged these days. And so we want to make sure to get the products to you in the best fashion, and once it leaves our hands, it's out of our hands. So just a little 2% root protection will make sure that you'll get your products.
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
And protecting your investment in yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
And you know, this is what this is about. This is about self-love, self-care.
Yeah.
And you know, the products that we have available, and even if you just start off with the basics, right? And the daily cleansing tea, and these, you know, the C60, if you would like to add that to it, the black diamond crystals. I mean, these are such powerful, the black gold.
Yeah.
All of these are such key items in regards to rejuvenating And then when you add, the icing on the cake, when things like IGF, IGF-1 and IGF 300, or whether you're younger, the IGF 25,000? 25,000?
25,000.
Yeah, the IGF 25. And so these are means to just keep bumping you over and to really start getting into the cellular level of the body and really helping it rejuvenate and revitalize.
Yeah. If you're out there and you're faced with a chronic diagnosis of one thing or the other, it's these base steps that every single person needs to do. So you can, let me just reorganize my thoughts. You can feel empowered, and that's part of our job, is to train you to feel empowered that you can take control of your body. You maybe have this chronic diagnosis, and that's a big moment when you're in that doctor's office and you get that. But just know that you have the ability, you have the brain power, and we can come alongside you and be your coach, and you can take back your world. So I just want everyone just to take a breath down. Maybe you've just received some sort of diagnosis. Remember that moment you received that diagnosis, that can change your view of yourself. So remember everything that Dr. Gerald Wolfe teaches about those emotions. We need to kind of shake off that diagnosis, reconnect with your divine nature, that you are made to heal. Your body's made to regulate itself. And we're just excited to have you here. I've gotten Sharon off topic now, so sorry about that, Sharon. We could go back to questions and notes.
That's fine. And and the thing is that that's what we're creating with the World Healing and Training Center here in Ixtapa, Mexico, is a global march to self-empowerment.
There you go.
And how beautiful is that? Like Sandra was saying so eloquently, is that we take our power back and we now can actually make differences.
Yeah.
And it's about whether you want to focus on the title of the disease that you've been labeled with, or whether you want to focus on loving yourself. And that's really the choice.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so Carrie asked a question about hypothyroidism. Can you recommend which supplements to purchase? Do you want to answer that one, Sandra?
Well, like I said, my comment was everybody needs to start with the base products, the daily cleansing tea, the black diamond, the black gold, because we are all toxic. So we all need to start doing that gently daily cleansing, and the detoxing effects of the humic and fulvic. They both detox in their own way, is where everyone needs to start. And then hypothyroidism, I would think of iodine and iodide for absolute sure. But the whole package is really what we need. The IGF 300 is going to help your body regenerate with energy, so that your body has the ability to get yourself back in balance. The C60 with all those incredible benefits, I'm not sure anyone that's dealing with a chronic diagnosis can go without either one of these guys. What would your input be?
Well, the hypothyroidism, it's really important. We have the infinite iodine and the infinite iodide, and it is pico. It's like that 10,000 times or smaller than nano. Which the key is that when we are actually trying to consume these, when we're consuming these nutraceuticals, as we call them, because that's what they are, is that they're not really supplements, they're nutraceuticals. The most important factor in it all is how the body is actually going to assimilate it. So when it's at such a small molecular level, it goes in and it infuses the cell with this. So it's not really a supplement, it's an infusion. And so the infinite iodine and the infinite iodide, they didn't mention whether they're actually on any kind of thyroid medication. However, you can actually start taking it gentle, lovey baby steps. You could start taking the infinite iodine, which buffers down infection, and it actually stores the body in the body if it needs to be used as iodide later. And so it directly affects the T3 and the T4 hormones. And then the iodide, it directly affects the T3 and the T4 hormones. So it's about a balancing act. And so you start off slow with one spray in the morning, one spray in the evening, or two sprays of the iodide one spray twice a day, and then one spray of the iodine, and then you can gently bump that up and then just see how you're doing. And if you are actually on thyroid medication, it depends on how long you're on it. and the dosage, you can actually start moving away from that. And I've been very successful with some of my clients as moving them away from some of their thyroid medication as they're on this, because this is about supporting the function at a cellular level.
Yeah.
And it's really key.
And when you said one spray, I think you meant one dose. So each dose is 5 sprays.
I've actually just when I'm
just
moving
teeny tiny for
just,
some people.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
fair enough.
Just because you don't want to like inundate, right?
Fair enough.
So it's actually you look at how long a person's been on their thyroid medication, and then you start ebbing it off, and then you start infusing it slowly rather than just kind of bam.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's and it's all about each individual case, and that is why it's so important to book a perfect day consult. Because at that time, then we can look at things and see exactly where you're at, and then get on the daily cleansing tea and the black diamond crystals, and then on the black gold. So the black diamond crystals, somebody had asked, what does the black diamond do? The black diamond works at a cellular level, whereas the black gold works at an intestinal level. And so the black diamond actually goes into the cell and chelates up to 6 times its molecular weight in heavy metals and toxins, and it infuses the cell with up to 60 micronutrients. And so it's really a miracle molecule. I mean, there's so many of them that we're calling miracle molecule, like the C60 is a miracle molecule. The fulvic acid is a miracle molecule. I mean, it's just
Dr.
amazing.
Gerolf doesn't mess around.
No.
It doesn't mess around. We have a plain D3 on the site. We have a plain K2. We have a vitamin B12, and these are great. Don't get me wrong, but more and more we're just hitting it out of the park with these astronomical products, one after the other.
Yeah.
Can I jump in about the diamond?
Absolutely.
So it's the combination of the humic and the fulvic together. And like she said, it works at a cellular level. Being that it's crystalline, it's very small, so it can cross that blood-brain barrier. And I just call it the Ferrari version of Tummy Love, right? So it's your combination product, and it's going to go in faster, go more places, and be stronger. So it's fabulous.
Yeah, it really is. And it has an affinity to water. So the reason that you don't stir it is that you just sprinkle it in, and it infuses itself within the water itself, and it has an affinity, so it attaches, because of the molecular level of it, it attaches itself to the water, which also attaches itself to the water within our body. And so if we're drinking structured water, that structured water is got 1,000% reduced surface tension, as well as its ionic water. It's positively ionized, and so it will infuse itself. So any of like black diamond crystals will infuse into the cell, because the cell itself, as it's being bombarded with inflammation and these toxins, this toxic overload from our leaky large intestine, that toxic overload is actually creating a prophylactic coating, like a coating around every one of our 60 trillion cells. And so then that makes the cell even less impermeable to water. And so we need water, and we need structured water, because we want that water to infuse. And so, like Sandra said, it's got the humic and the fulvic, and it goes right into the cell.
Yeah.
And it attaches itself to the water molecule, because it has an affinity to it, and it actually goes right into the cell. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. And when you hold it up to the light, it's really cool, because when you hold it up to the light and you sprinkle it on, it actually like dances, and it's got little crystals. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful product.
Yeah.
Somebody else was asking, just making a comment about the Merigen, and yes, it is an amazing product. So Welsh asks, so can you mix the C60 with the black diamond? Well, you can if you're using it as a topical, absolutely. And we also use that in things like the vaginal infusion too as well. And so when you're using it as a topical, yes, you can. But it has an affinity to water, so you need to have the black diamond crystals in the water. And it doesn't really matter whether you use a larger amount of water or not, because it's going to infuse into the cell. So there's not like a dilution process. You put like the scoop or the actual package in 6 ounces of water. It's fine to dilute it more, because it's just going to infuse into the cell.
Yeah. We've got the black diamond available in the 2 ounce just bulk. And so the individual envelopes are still going to be available, and that'll be nice and easy for you to pop in your purse, or when you're going to travel and things like that, so that you're out in the middle of the day, refill up your bottle with structured water and just rip open that envelope. So it's easy peasy to keep Black Diamond with you and on you and in you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And somebody was asking about the light crystals, the energy light crystals. Maurice has a question here, and she asked, hi, I want to order the crystals between the Protector, Guardian, and Protector. Are they all different, or do I just need one of them?
It's just a question of what sort of size you're trying to affect. So the ones that we wear, the adult size will give a radius out around from it of 20 feet. The children's size will do about 15 feet. So virtually the same. And lots of ladies are enjoying the smaller children's size because they're just a little bit more petite looking. And then as you go up, there's I do believe it's the Protector, will give you a 200-foot radius from around. So that's good for most homes. And then the two larger ones are for about, I do believe, 70 acres. So either a large institution or a large farm, and it will get a lot of bang for your buck there.
And the energy light crystals actually use something called radionics, and so it pulls the Earth's magnetism, and it actually will pull up like moisture out of the Earth, and what goes on is that there's all these energy bands that go across the Earth, and when we're throwing batteries into our landfill sites, it actually affects these rhythms of the energy bands, anyways, I can't think what the name is, but anyways, they affect the rhythms of these energy bands. And so what happens with the bodyguard and the guardian and the protector, it's infused with the ability so that these energy bands are not affected. And so when we have that around us, it actually creates a protective quality. And it's infused with all types of frequency, because every single thing on this planet has a frequency. And so the frequency is instilled within these crystals, and wherever they are throughout the entire world, that when Peter Webb ends up instilling the frequency in he can create the frequency of it, and then he can create the offset of the frequency. And it really is amazing as far as what we have. And I know that when I ended up buying the Protector for my home, I had just a small lot within Canada, and the birds. I mean, every day it was like these different birds, and I couldn't even see them in the trees. It was like twiddly twiddly twiddly, and it was like where? I mean, I had little partridges. I had so many birds in my backyard.
Neat.
It was absolutely amazing. It was like, really? What? It was so cool. And so what it did was, because it changed the frequency, and it mitigated all that negative, and it attracted all this wildlife. And it was really beautiful, really beautiful.
So maybe were you in a town, or were you a little bit on the outside? Or?
Yeah, no, I was right smack dab in the city.
So you just created this nice little zone, and the birds, I don't even know the technical way to do it, but their navigation and things like that, and all the different skills that the birds have, they could sense that, so they showed up.
Yeah, they showed up. It was really cool. And I would just hear like different songs all the time, and I would be trying to find them in the trees, and it was like, that's okay. If I'll just listen to your beautiful songs. And it was really beautiful. And just to let you know that the different colors of the energy light crystals, it doesn't really matter. It's just a matter more of profess. I mean, there's slight differences, but overall, Peter Webb said that it doesn't really matter. They're all infused with all of the frequencies. And so it's just basically a matter of personal preferences.
Your really large units, the Guardian, and I do believe it's purple or green. So if you choose a green one of the larger units, the Guardian, I believe, that it'll have a slight more effect on, if you have a farm or you have a large garden or something, it'll have a slight more effect on that. But like Sharon said, virtually they're exactly the same. So it's no worries. It's whatever you are attracted to, that's the one that that's the color you should be purchasing.
Yeah. And the green affects more of the chlorophyll, so it will help.
Right.
It will help pull some of the moisture from the earth.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, circadian. Thank you, Carrie. It was coming out of there. I knew it was a C of some sort. I appreciate that. And somebody else mentioned, and it's already scrolled up. I could probably try to scroll this thing down, but this pad is a little.
Oh, there you go.
A little bit. Okay, there we go.
You got it.
Oh, I think I went the wrong way though. About Hashimoto's. Hashimoto's is the fundamental reason that a person has Hashimoto's is because of anxiety and stress. And so that anxiety and stress is just dripping the chemicals and hormones into the body that are associated with the anxiety and the stress. And that is adrenaline. And adrenaline creates inflammation in the body, which is basically the body being on fire. And so that inflammation then starts dehydrating the connective tissues within the body and starts dehydrating the cells and start creating this layer around it because they're inflamed, and your mitochondria is affected, and the whole body is affected. It's gone into contraction. And so when there's contraction, you can't have much blood flow.
No.
And so really the burnout of the thyroid, which is the ultimate, which is the final link in the chain, as we call it, the domino effect. So the domino effect of the anxiety and the anxiousness creates a burnout within the actual thyroid, and so then now you need support, and so the iodine and the iodide would absolutely assist with Hashimoto's. But the fundamental problem or the fundamental underlying issue is the anxiety and the stress, which is typically dealing with fear, false evidence appearing real.
Right. And that might seem a bit for you to get your head around, but we have been, if this is you and this is Hashimoto's is your situation that's going on, really sit in that. How long have you been your own terrorist? How long have you sat in this anxiety that you're not even noticing it anymore, right? And we end up being kind of like a deer. You know how you see a deer walking along and they're all calm, then all of a sudden, boom. How long, how often have you done this that now you just think, and your whole body is now reacting. It has to be on guard all the time. So think about this severe exhaustion of the endocannabinoid system, of everything in your body. So we really need to somehow just sit and go, oh no, that doesn't make sense to me. No, I'm asking you to sit in it and feel it. How long? 5 years? 7 years? 15 years? Have you been in this deer caught in the headlights mode?
Fight, flight, freeze.
We need to slow down. We need to give ourselves a break. We need to do our love band. We need to take our mirror to bed with us and lay it down and know the oath and repeat the oath, and then just sit in the mirror and feel yourself and sit and feel. And I think you'll come to lots of realizations in those moments.
Well, absolutely, and then with all of that adrenaline that's pumping into the system, some people say, you know what, I have like great energy. Well, you have great energy because you're running on adrenaline. And so eventually those adrenal glands are going to burn out. And the adrenal glands sit right on top of the kidneys. And so then you will end up, if you're not drinking enough water, which majority of the people aren't drinking enough water, and if they are drinking water, it's typically not the right type of water. So it's very important that it's structured water, because all water is converted to structured water so that we can actually utilize it by the body. And you have to use a tremendous amount of energy to convert non-structured water to structured water within the body. And so what we want to do is we want to reduce the amount of energy that the body is using to assimilate the nutrients that we're actually consuming, and to also be able to assimilate the water that we're drinking. And so like a 150-pound person, they would have to use what it would take for a 2,500 square foot house to run on its energy for 2 days to be able to turn the water from whatever water, non-structured water, to structured water to be absolutely used by the body. 2 days for the amount of water that's required for that person for 1 day. And so it's huge.
So if we can drink it in the structured format, it's instant hydration. All your H2Os are lined up in a little choo-choo train. And again, think of this on a molecular level. You've got one little opening in each molecule. Whoop, in goes the water. Instant hydration. Your body can take that energy now and work on what's going on instead of just absorbing water.
Absolutely. And it's so important. And when we're running on our adrenaline and we're burning out our adrenals, and therefore we're not drinking enough water, so then the kidneys suffer. And how many people have kidney stones, and then the emotional component. I mean, that's huge, because like Einstein says, E equals mc squared. So it's energy in motion. And so we want to make certain that we vibrate at a love energy, just like what we're infusing the C60 in, so that then we can vibrate within ourselves. And so we really have a choice that we're going to be chased by the paper tagger, because that is false evidence appearing real, and be stressed all out about all of whatever's going on. And that, when we are actually chased by a tagger, we respond, and within 3 minutes, we have to climb a tree before the tiger eats us. And then it's over with, right? So either you get eaten or you climb up the tree. So when you're actually being chased by the paper tiger, it's like 3 hours worth of terrorization to the body.
Because you're not stopping the terrorizing, right?
That's right.
You just remain in that moment.
Yes,
in that moment.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then drip, the adrenaline and the inflammation, and then it'll find tissues that's lacking integrity. So if you've had any kind of injury, and also it will find the area of the emotional component that you're dealing with. So the weight of the world on the shoulder, which is up here, and how many people have the knots and their neck is all stiff. I mean, it's huge, right? How many people do we treat here at the World Healing and Training Center with the Wolf Non-Surgical, and it's like hard as a rock. I mean, it's crazy. It really is. And so that being chased by the paper tiger puts you into fight, flight, or freeze, and then therefore you're just dripping that adrenaline. And Carrie had mentioned, how can I get treatments in Canada? It depends on where you're at, Carrie, and you can certainly contact our office and find out that information as far as where you're actually located, or book a perfect day consult, and you can talk to your consultant, and they can try to direct you into that region that we would have a New World practitioner that could actually do the Wolf Non-Surgical on you. But it's key to start with the perfect day consult. We want to bring down that inflammation, bring down that constant drip of inflammation within the body itself, and get the large intestine functioning properly, because that's it.
That's the Holy Grail.
That's the Holy Grail, right? Yeah. And so let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, at the same time, can doing many of these at the same time be too much? I am used to them now, but there are a lot.
So we're going to assume you're talking about products, and definitely spread these things out. We don't need to be dumping 10, 15 things into our body all at once. Your large intestine needs to be recouped. We need to get that balance of the good and bad bacteria back. So until then, let's just little bits at a time here.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
And somebody, actually, I'll bring it up now, I was going to talk about it later in the during the live Q&A, is in regards to the Tesla glasses. So Andrea said, I wear the Tesla glasses, they're more playful colors and less expensive and are just as effective. I've got them for two, for one for home and one for vehicle outdoors. In regards to the Tesla glasses, they are hyperlight, and so they convert all energy into healing energy. But also they reduce, they block the blue light, which is the blue light poisoning. Yeah. And that's going into our body, and that's affecting our circadian rhythms, it's affecting our hormones, it's affecting every aspect of our body. And we are so blue light poisoned because of the amount of time that we spend on iPads and phones. And
knock that endocannabinoid system out, and that's your system to regulate all your different organs. So the blue light poisoning goes in, stay there long enough, knock your endocannabinoid system off, and then your whole body is going to struggle. You're going to struggle to sleep. You're going to struggle to regulate all those different organs. So we do need to take seriously what's going in through our eyes, definitely. And yeah, it's totally fun to wear the kid Teslas, because sometimes some people have just smaller skulls. So those are the ones that are going to fit for you. And yeah, they're a blast.
Yeah. And the lenses, the fullerene lenses, are infused with the C60 molecule. So that molecule spins at 18 billion revolutions per second. It's a hexagonal molecule, and it actually infuses the eyes. And any time that we end up with issues with the eyes, it's basically the eyes are blocking off the burnout of the brain. So when we're on the computers for so long and all these other devices that we're getting inundated with the blue light, is that the C60 will infuse into the eye, but it will also prevent the brain from being on fire and basically burnout within the brain. And the good news is that I was just talking to Olja Lupashensky, who is the director of the Netherlands Bioptron, is just announced that we can now get the Tesla glasses, and we will be putting up something that will be up on the site by tomorrow. You won't be able to order them, but they are going to be in the form of clip-ons that you can order, the glasses that you can then get the prescription. So you can get the frames and you can go to your optometrist and you can actually get the prescription in the frames, and there is a matching clip-on so that you can have the clip-ons on the Teslas.
So what's going up on the website? Something just to put in a bit of I'm interested, or
Yes.
what's going up?
So exactly, good point. It's going to be that you're interested. So it'll show the different styles, and if you're interested, it'll send us an email, and then when we get them on the site to actually sell them, get everything up and running as far as the inventory, etc., then we will send you an email, and then you'll be notified first. So it's really exciting.
Okay. Cool.
And also other styles that are just the fullerene, just the hyperlight. So there's the hyperlight and then there's the polarized. So the hyperlight are for not for outdoors. The hyperlight are for the indoors, and the polarized are actually for the outdoors. So there's two levels of the polarized, and they kind of look like mirrors. And so the first level is not as dark of a mirror, and so they're polarized and they're all hyperlight, but they just have more polarization on them. And so there'll be different styles that you will just have the hyperlight, and there's also hyperlight for just children as well as the polarized version. So it's really exciting.
Neat.
Yeah.
Good job.
Absolutely. And we actually had I had Olja on our Braveheart Women's Show last week, and please look at watching it for the next week. So, want to come to Mexico? Yes, Carrie, come to Mexico. The next Whole Life Coach course starts on April the 30th, and we're going to be running 3 consecutively, 3 Whole Life Coach courses and 3 Wolf Non-Surgical Certification courses. And starting April 30th, and then May 28th, I believe it is, and I can't quite recall what day in June, but they all run from start to finish about 22 days or so. Yeah. Yeah. So,
And then probably at least a week break.
Exactly.
So you're looking almost at a month schedule, not quite exactly 30 days.
Yeah, absolutely. And Priscilla asked about adrenal fatigue treatment. Do you want to take that one away?
So everybody starts with the basics: daily cleansing tea, black diamond, black gold, and then you're going to do your infinite iodine, iodide, and I would be doing the perfect day consult. I wouldn't just be picking a bunch of products and going for it. I would definitely make sure I get myself educated, because you want to be your first practitioner. So you want to understand these products intimately, and you want to be in that position to take power in your own life. You're going to start with all those base products. You're going to want the C60 for sure. You're going to want the IGF 300 for sure. Get your perfect consultation, and you might have some specific needs that you need that are outside that as well. So I would check it out. And
Priscilla, the fundamental is the Braveheart emotional intelligence. And you can go online, you can go to the docofdetox.com, and you can go into the master classes, and you can book yourself into, and there's a coupon code Braveheart free, and I would highly recommend that you go in there and start the Braveheart 12 Loving Steps. It is about loving yourself. We have 2 choices. We can focus on whatever external forces are chasing us around, or whatever disease symptom we have, or whatever label that we have, or we can turn it and focus on loving ourselves. And it's really beautiful when you can look in the mirror and you can really say, you know what, I honor, love, respect, protect, forgive, trust you, first and foremost, before anyone or anything else. So help me God. That's beautiful. And when you can own that, then you can actually feel it. And thank you, Lorna, for your comment. And yes, I do like to dance. And my name is Sharon, by the way, if you didn't hear it earlier. Yes, and Maurice, in regards to the endocannabinoid system, that you can, do you use CBD or do we have CBD to sell? And we do, but you have to call it in, right?
Yeah, call in and ask. There's every state, every province has got different rules and things like that. So not a blanket statement for absolutely anybody, but call in and see what we can do. We always have to abide by all the rules out there.
Yeah, I wish I could figure out how I can scroll back down on this on the Facebook.
Yeah, Carrie has a question. I can't leave Canada without a jab. Do call if you need specific instructions, or not instructions, suggestions. We're hearing people are able to be driving across with a, if you're traveling down for treatments or trainings here, and then we give you a letter of intention to say you're coming here for treatments and trainings and it's a medical need. So there's different people trying different things. And so if you need specific help from Dr. Gerald Wolf, 855-900-4544, the extension 5, but call tomorrow, call Wednesday. He's pretty busy today, but everyone's in a different situation and we're really only able to tell you what other people are telling us. So that's our input there. These products that are not listed on the website, can you please explain what they're for? Okay, I'm not sure what you meant by the products not listed.
Well, there are products like Merigen's not on the website.
Oh,
and
there's
the CBD suppositories, yes.
There's a category, you click on that, takes you to a different website. There's information there. There's information about the calcium ion therapy within the library. So docadetox.com, click library, that'll take you to a different site. You make your own login with your own password, and there's tons of videos in there about calcium ion therapy. I think about 3 weeks ago, we sort of did a marathon of calcium ion therapy videos on Facebook. So if you want to go back a little bit, there was lots of replays there.
Yeah, and Barbara asked a question. Hi, ladies, 2 questions. Does a structured water unit work on any home system? And yes, it does. There's 2 different sizes. There's for under 2,500 square feet, and there's for over 2,500 square feet. And there's only one offering as far as under 2,500 square feet, and then there's 2 for over 2,500. And it all has to do with whether it's a 3/4 inch PVC pipe that comes into the house or a 1 inch. And so, yes, and it's beautiful. We so often talk about what the water is that we're drinking, but when we have chlorine and bromide and fluoride in the water, because the positively ionizing the water with the structured units, it actually erases the memory of the water. So it erases any frequency of ill effects that are in the water. So water carries frequency. And that's why we are electromagnetic energy light beings, because we're mostly full of water. And so then that's why we carry frequency. And so that's what it's all about. And so you can actually have it. And then what it does is that then now when we're steaming the water, because we're having a shower in it or a bath, that we're not breathing in the chloride, or the chlorine, into the lungs, and we're actually infusing that into our body because our skin is our largest organ. Yeah. And I never tried this one with my structured unit, but you can actually not even use any laundry soap when you have the water structured. And so I didn't actually try that myself, but I do understand that is the case as well.
Well, we get a buildup on the clothes and in your clothing.
Yes.
And so when you get using the structured water, and it helps to absorb, right? Because it's instant hydration for the body. So it's a similar thing in the washing machine. It's going to help all that stored washing machine detergent to come out. So I don't know if you could do it forever, perhaps, but definitely it's going to help get that residue off your clothing. Yeah.
And Barbara also asked, she said, I made a decision to have a root canal a few years ago, and unfortunately my mouth has never been the same. I'm currently on Tea, Tummy Love, Black Gold, and C60. Do you have any other recommendations for the mouth?
Lots of people like using the silver bullet gel, mix in a bit of immunity, and do a little swish. Other cool things to do are silver bullet gel and the C60 itself, maybe even a little bit of the black diamond crystals. Make a little pack, or even just sort of do just a bit of a swish and then spit everything out because it's going to pull. What am I thinking of? Oil pulling, just a different version of oil pulling. So those things I would definitely do. And maybe, I don't know, check out a biological dentist to be maybe removing those. Those are some bigger decisions for yourself to make, but
it's a direct pathway of infection, those root canals. And so there's something called, what is it called? The root of all evil. I believe there's a video on that you can actually watch and see exactly what goes on. So every one of our teeth in our mouth is a meridian, and we do thermography, and the thermography measures changes in temperature, but it all links back to the teeth. And so those meridians of the teeth really are very specific as far as the future of your health. So this thermography machine, it's so thorough in what is actually going on with the body itself, and it will measure a projection of 7 to 10 years if you keep up with the same type of lifestyle as far as what you're actually going to be subjected to as far as potential, dis-ease. Misalignment is really what it is. That's what disease is. It's dis-ease in the body. You're misaligned. And so what we do is we actually create strategies associated with the Perfect Day consult so that we can strategize that support it to help bring you into alignment.
Yeah. It's the regulations thermography is so cool because of how cool the body is. Because our nervous system is everywhere. We change the temperature of our skin, and that will show an effect on the individual organs. They'll react because the nervous system is so extensive. So we come in as a warm body. We do 119 different points, and like Sharon said, a whole bunch here because of all those meridians that go to the various organs. We then let your body cool off. We redo all those points, and the regulation, the difference between the measurement of those two things, shows us the ability of your organs to regulate, to change. And so their ability to regulate will give you the picture of your health. The interesting thing about the meridians, because I've heard of that before, but I wasn't terribly educated about it. They said, either infection here will affect whatever organ they're attached to, or if the organ has been in trouble for so long, it will show up here. So it's a
two-way street.
It's a two-way street. It's an indication whether the trouble started here and went down, or if the trouble started in the organs and shows up on those meridians in the dental system. So
it's
really
a two-way street, just like the spine. I mean, the spine carries the light energy of the body, like the most light energy of the body, and it's a two-way street. So when we're pooping in our pelvis because we have a leaky large intestine, often referred to as leaky gut, well, it's not the gut leaking, it's the intestine leaking because the walls of the intestine have been broken down from the putrefaction and the compost pile that's been piling up because we're not letting go emotionally and physically. And so therefore that coccyx tail, which is the antenna, starts blowing up. So it starts pulling up all the toxins and inflammation, which happens with all the other organs. So if the organs are absorbing the toxins from the inflammation, from the infection first and foremost, that's leaching through the large intestine, and then it's going into the organs because it's being absorbed by the organs that are all within our pelvic bowl, and so then that's going to then pull up that into the meridians of the teeth, and so you're going to have this cycle. And so it's all about a cycle. It's all about the flow. So what we do here at the World Healing and Training Center, and with the protocols and the strategies that we have created through the Perfect Day strategy and the Perfect Day consultation, is that we are creating a strategy so then you can start peeling away those layers, and you can start realigning your body and getting the large intestine functioning properly, because that's the holy grail. That's the start. It's our second brain.
Merce, how do we clean the portable structured unit, and if so, how long? You can simply put your finger on the end, put some water in, a little bit of baking soda, give it a swish and rinse it, and do that a few times, and that's pretty much all you need to be doing. You can throw it into the washing or the dishwasher. I wouldn't throw any of the soap in maybe, but you can put it in the top, and you can do that as well if you'd like, but it's pretty easy just to put your finger there and give it give it a swish. Details on accommodation choices. So we're located here at the Ixtapa Palace. We've call in. We've got different phone numbers we can give you. Also check out some websites. So braveheartnation.com is a site. And that'll give you lots of specific information about here, about courses, about dates, a whole bunch of information there.
And Marlene had asked who my beautiful co-host is, and it's Sandra, the name. So you must have come on a little bit later, Marlene. So this is Sandra. So Sandra.
And Sharon.
Yeah. Yeah, Sandra.
We're having fun with the SNS today.
Yes, and the structure unit, the portable structure unit, you can also structure other liquids through it. So when you're making your blender drink, you can structure your plant-based milk, your oat milk, or your almond milk, or any of those types of things. I mean, you can even structure, if you're going to decide to have some alcohol, you can structure the alcohol, and it will remove any of the toxic effects of the alcohol. But be very aware that it's going to infuse into your cell much more rapidly than when it's not structured. And so you can start flying high pretty quickly.
Oh, sounds like someone experimented, maybe.
When I first got my structure unit, and I really don't drink, and so when I first got it was around Thanksgiving, and there was wine being poured in the house, and my daughter goes, "Well, here, Mom, have a drink of wine." And so I only poured like a quarter because I don't really drink, and so I thought, hey, I've got this like fancy dancy portable structure unit. I'm going to try structuring. Well, within like 2 or 3 sips, because I'm a lightweight to begin with, I could already feel it. It was like, whoa. I could like already sort of start feeling that my words were starting to slur. And I thought, holy moly.
She's high energy enough. I don't think she needed to do this.
No, I didn't either, yeah. Yeah, no kidding. So, anyways, I wanted to mention about some other interviews that Daryl had done earlier, which was the IGF one with Christopher Key. Mm-hmm. And the IGF-1 combined with the C60, but not, when you take it, not necessarily mixed together, but you take those two products, that it's like bam, out of the park.
Yeah.
It really is, because the IGF-1 rebuilds, regrows, and rejuvenates the body, right from the building blocks of the body. Mm-hmm. See, we have, the IGF is produced from deer antlers, from a New Zealand deer that's raised with the highest vibration of love. And these deer antlers, their antlers are the fastest growing antlers of any antlered species in the world. And that the tip, there's all the velvet on the antlers, and the tip of the antlers has the highest concentration of the IGF, which IGF is actually the human growth hormone. So it is converted into IGF. And so in order to be able to consume the amount of IGF that we have in the dosage that we recommend per day, as far as per month, you'd have to, if you were to do that dosage every month, that the amount of human growth hormone that you'd have to buy to equal that would be about $4,000 a month. And so this is so highly concentrated, and it will make a woman again, a man. It will rejuvenate you. It's amazing. It's an amazing product. Mm-hmm. And so these beautiful little deer that are creating this wonderful little fuzz on their deer antlers is actually creating this ability for us to rebuild and rejuvenate our bodies.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And so the hormones and chemicals, they move at the speed of light. And so when we are rejuvenating ourselves from a hormonal and a chemical perspective, which, like I said before, that's why they're nutraceuticals, and Daryl has attracted, through his high vibration, love vibration, all of these wonderful scientists and these creators of these products. And so what it will do is it will tone, it will help you lose weight, it will help you think better, it will help you sleep better, and it will give you energy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really, and it's something that I would highly recommend. And the IGF 25 is for people under about the age of 30 or so, for the younger people, and the IGF 300. Yeah. And so, if you do,
for everybody else.
Yeah, for everybody else. Yeah, and if you do take it. And you do take it, the recommended dosage is about 14 drops.
Well, that would be the max dosage for at one time.
Yeah, at one time, exactly. And if you do take it and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I've got like so much energy, then you know that you're suffering from adrenal fatigue, and you need to back that off a bit and give yourself a chance to kind of work into this. And so it's just not a matter of, starting to race around the house.
I don't just keep taking more and more.
And so what this product does is about restoring the body into the youth and be able to keep it there. So it's about restoration of the body. And that's what we're doing, is that we're realigning, we're restoring, we're rejuvenating, we're rebuilding. What a great concept. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, just only for my own journey. And that's how we learn, is we learn from our own journey, don't we, Sandra?
A story, a friend of mine, a lovely British lady, and she had a teeny bit of a mustache, just some darker hairs, and a few little, hairs coming that, stick straight out, they're not coming from the female hormones, obviously. 48 hours after she started taking it, gone. Right?
Beautiful.
So this is the power of the IGF 300. It's amazing.
And Welsh ended up asking, so I've lost a bunch of my teeth. Now I can't go back on that one. Is there something that will help with that? I mean, really, the body, I would really look at your large intestine and to see how you're actually, like, the functionality and get that cleaned up, because it's gum rot is root rot, and so it's bum rot. Bum rot is gum rot. So if you have receding gum lines, any of those issues, it's the infection and the putrefaction that's coming up from the large intestine. And so to reduce that inflammation, reduce that infection, that's the key, because the infection goes into the blood, and those meridians which are attached to the organs are absorbing that. So I would highly recommend, Welsh, that you end up getting yourself a perfect day consult and looking at your diet and looking at getting the large intestine functioning properly.
We're currently using a bone density test. So, if you were able to come down here, A, do your perfect day consultation, B, seriously consider taking the whole life coach, because I think we all need that, and then take advantage of all the different energy medicines, all the different treatments you can do down here. And this bone density test takes less than 5 minutes and gives you a good picture, at least give you a baseline of where you're at right now. So that would be one thing I'd be curious about. If you were losing quite a few teeth already, then I'd be wanting to get my head wrapped around my bone density. So
yeah, and really, cancer is inflammation gone wild, and so when the body is so inflamed, it's acidity, and the only way the body can buffer down the acidity is to pull calcium from the bones, and that's why the bone density test is so important, because it shows you the level of inflammation that you have. And the only difference between a diagnosis of having cancer one day and not the other day is the amount of inflammation. There was a fellow that came down here for one of the whole life coach courses, and he was diagnosed with the disease of prostate cancer, and he decided right from the get-go, before he even came down here, that he was not going to emotionally attach himself to that diagnosis, and that he was going to be positive and start drinking juices and follow the perfect day diet. And he came down here and he did a thermography, and he didn't have it because he had reduced his inflammation. And there was another woman that had asked about mammograms, that her doctor said that thermal imagery was not as accurate as a mammogram.
So what we're talking about is regulation thermography, and so this is different than an imaging, okay? Regulation thermography is strictly measuring the temperature of the surface of the skin. Remember my explanation of our nervous system goes everywhere, and so it will affect our organs, and we can measure the ability of the organs to regulate. And so we do the warm temperature reading, right? And then we cool off, and then we do the cool temperature. So it is different than thermal imaging, totally. We're not dealing with images. We're not exposing anyone to any sort of radiation. We are simply measuring the temperature of your skin, so that it's much safer, and it's here. Come on down and see us.
And you know that what they used to do years ago is they used to cover people with mud, and where they knew that there was issues within the different organs was where the mud, the mud didn't dry because it was heat. And so it's about inflammation.
It didn't cool. It
Or
didn't regulate.
Sorry, yeah, so it didn't regulate.
Didn't
That's
regulate.
right. Exactly. And so what we're doing is that and so inflammation, of course, is going to be creating something that's not regulating properly.
Mm-hmm.
And can you take IGF-1 on the water fast? Well, it works at a yes.
Oh, well, we're going to put it underneath our tongue, and we're going to absorb most of it there. So I would think if you're going to absorb it into your bloodstream without using the digestive tract, you're good to go.
It's just like the C60. If you hold it under your tongue until it goes to water, it's not triggering the digestive system. Right. And so the IGF would be exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
So you don't want to trigger the digestive system.
Yeah.
And Marlene asked about that wanting to get a perfect day consult, and in order to just go on to the doc of detox.com and you'll see each one of the consultants listed there.
Click on
and then
consultation.
You just click on there. Yeah, consultation.
Takes you to a different page. Yeah.
And what about fish oils, Juliet asked. So we have the essential fatty acids, and they're made from seal oil. Mm-hmm. And so it's the cleanest because fish oil actually has mercury in it. And so in China, I believe it is that they were like just throwing out all the seal fat. I mean, we're not promoting the fact of, but the fact is that they're doing that. So we're not promoting the fact of killing the seals so that we can end up doing, getting the essential fatty acids. But the seal blubber was just being thrown away. And so we're using it. And it's one of the easiest assimilated essential fatty acids by our body.
And because we're both mammals.
Yes.
So it's an oil that is familiar to our body.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
And the thing about our essential fatty acids is that you want to take them on its own. You want to take them without your other products, like your curcumin cayenne and your Sinonium minerals and whatever other supplements that you're actually taking, because it will kind of coat them. So the essential fatty acids need to be taken as a separate supplement on its own. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? How can one heal diabetes? I got off insulin. I've lost 10 pounds. Seinfeld getting off and feeling better. I'm not sure what that means. I am not diagnosed with insulin resistance until after I had an invasive vein ligation in my right leg. The doctor did wrong surgery on my body. My doctor had a stroke. His associate did wrong surgery.
Oh dear.
4 stitches turned into 39 cuts in my leg. Now only that leg has problems.
Oh dear. You can scroll down. That might be
Thank you
bit
for
more.
sharing that, Michelle. Let me see if I can...
Yeah.
Well, actually, I figured out how I can scroll up.
Okay,
that's the end of it. That's the end of it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
How can I heal diabetes? Get off insulin. So one of the key things that we have, Michelle, as far as the to help regulate blood sugars, is the super cinnamon essential oil. It has, I assume that it's type 2 diabetes. It has such a huge effect on type 2 diabetes because what we want to do is we want to regulate the blood sugars within the body itself. And so you can all of our essential oils can be ingested, and so there's no issues with that, and they're high frequency. And in regards to get yourself on a perfect day diet, get yourself a strategy associated with that, whether you've had a perfect day consult or not, and really let's get the whole system functioning, because it's support of the Holy Grail, which is the large intestine. It's the support of the inflammation. It's the support of absorption. All of these factors are hugely related as far as getting things moving, bringing down your inflammation, bringing down the infection in the blood, and then also helping to regulate the actual blood sugars. And then you can also get on like HUMIC and regulate hormonal function and all these types of things, which is really important.
Proper amounts of water to consume to make sure that those regulation functions of your body can take place. The live foods from the whole plant-based diet, making sure we're not consuming things that are just processed and highly got lots of sugar in them. So, live foods, lots of water, get all these systems back on order in your body should just correct itself.
Yeah. Inflammatory foods, inflammatory thoughts, inflammatory people
Yeah.
that you associate with.
And I think a lot of when we get a system that overreacts to sugar or underreacts to sugar, and then I think there can be lots of just personal issues created, lots of anxiety gets created, lots of depression gets created. So one negative thing shows a snowball effect to a whole bunch of other things. So.
And Michelle, if you want to contact the office and find out where you're actually located, you have a lot of cuts on that leg, so you've had a lot of incisions on that leg, therefore there's going to be a numerous amount of scar tissue, and that scar tissue will create blockages, and there'll be adhesions, and I'm not sure how long ago that you ended up having these surgeries on that leg, and so the sooner that you can get some Wolf non-surgical, the better. And if you're not in an area, then you can go online and look up the one-shot therapy and actually do some work on your leg yourself and open up that tissue, because all of that scar tissue is creating adhesions, and because it's so inflamed, and then it's creating blockages, and so then you'll have pain associated with that, and then potential disease as you move forward, and because all disease is created from blockages, so we want to bring that down, but also ideally bring down the inflammation within the body itself too as well, and that's really key as far as pain goes, is bringing down the inflammation.
Consider a PTT, someone traveling to see you.
Yes.
Consider coming here.
Yes.
Again, like I said before, consider taking the Whole Life Coach. Let's get the base program turned back into a love situation, and then be able to come down here and have the treatments, have a healing vacation, learning vacation. I think that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, and a PTT is a personal treatment and training. And what we do is that we do joint restoration. You can come down as a couple, you can come down as partners, whatever it happens, and you can pick like 6 different body parts, and you can actually learn how to do the Wolf non-surgical techniques on each other. And we actually, like Sandra was saying, we could travel to your location and do those, teach those personal treatment and training, or you can come here at the World Healing and Training Center in Ixtapa. And you can certainly go on to the newworldpractitioner.com, on the braveheartnation.com, and find out all about that. And the personal practitioner, or the personal treatment and training.com, is also a very good place to start, Michelle, if you wanted to take a look there. And also you could come down, and because it all starts with the invisible, it all starts with the vibration of what you're vibrating at, because the invisible creates the physical. So what's happened with all of your diabetes and all of these issues is that there's an emotional component that goes along with that, and then when we have surgery and we have pain, then there's more emotions that are attracted to that area, and then there just becomes this layered effect. And it's really important to address that, because what it's part of the whole healing process. And as you peel away all the veils, then you just peel away, and eventually you find that inner child, that authentic self, which we don't even know who we even are. And that's what the Braveheart mirror work was really really instrumental for myself, as far as looking in the mirror and thinking. The first time I did it, it was like my subconscious mind wanted to just run for the hills, because it wanted to sabotage it. It was really uncomfortable. And then I realized that I didn't even know who this person was.
Yeah, those first few times in the mirror, and I call it static thinking, right? But I think it's just a high level of anxiety. You sit in that mirror and you think, oh God, I can't look, right? Just think about how many things go through your mind all at once. And I guess that's what I always meant by static thinking. It's, just instant, for years I was, I have a stubby nose. Oh, no one's going to appreciate this. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Right? And just all these, every time someone insulted you, or every time you took it as an insult, correction, right, creates all this static thinking, creates all this anxiety. But we really can survive these first few moments in the mirror. It really isn't going to kill you. And we had a friend who had a 55th birthday party, and she was having a few tears thinking about it. And I just looked at her and I said, you know what? It's okay. Just sit in it. Just know what you're feeling. Stop running from how we feel. Sit in it and know it. And then when you completely know it, you can just let go of it. It's not going to kill you. It's not, really not going to kill you. The mirror work is not going to cause harm. And we just have to slow ourselves down long enough just to sit in it. And then when we're done having our little pout or a little cry or maybe a punch on the pillow, then all of a sudden we're like, yeah, you know what? I don't need to go there anymore. It's just either lies or this or that, you know, so.
Yeah. Well, because our stories become our life.
Yeah.
And then it's really not. That story is just a story, and it's
just
his
a story.
story. And so about bringing ourselves to the moment. The key is to eventually get yourself to a place that you're at such utmost peace when chaos is going on around you. And you can just be like, you know, I got this. And so eventually this chaos will, I mean, I can tap into it and have the adrenaline and everything start pumping through my body and inflame myself and run around and get all upset or angry or whatever it is. Or I can just go like 3, 2, 1, I got this, and I'll just, you know, wait till there's a calm moment when I could.
Or just turn it into excitement.
Yeah.
I like how Daryl explained
Yes.
that, right? Because I had gone through a few little trauma moments in my life. And so anything that would be exciting or scary, I actually stayed away from for a very long time. And then when he said, you know, just turn it into excitement, I thought, what? No way! No way!
Never thought of that.
I'm a fun person, and I have kept myself from doing a lot of really cool things because of the rush or the this or the that. And it's just like, it's really been that simple. I can just turn my nervousness into excitement and go, whew, give myself a breath. Bammo, creative thinking comes back. I can handle this. I can go do this fun thing. I can, you know, so.
The moment.
The moment.
It's the moment.
The now.
Right?
Yeah.
And those moments are the only moments. Those are the gift of the present. And that's what this is all about, because the place that the body can heal, the only place that the body can heal is when we're in the present moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can't heal if we're like thinking about yesterday or tomorrow, what's going to happen, because the body's going like, whoa, just give me a moment to catch up.
You can tell she spends a bit of her life in anxiety moments.
Yeah,
we're forgetting.
You know, as a master at anxiety,
We're
I'm
forgetting.
really good at it.
Yeah.
And so I hid mine, and people hide it in different ways. And I hid mine in, you know, sort of like laughter and all that kind of stuff. But it was sitting there. And so even now, and now it's like, I'm so much, because now I feel the little trigger of it starting to come up. And then it's like, okay. Yeah.
Boom, we handled it.
Yeah.
You know?
Boom. Boom. And I could feel it in how fast I start to talk, and just all of that, and just in the breathing, and just the little flutter that goes on here. And so as we can start becoming more of an observer of ourselves, that's when we know that we're moving in the right direction.
Yep.
And be patient.
Yeah.
I've had to be really patient.
Yeah.
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 And many of us have. I mean, it's layers.
We have to be willing to do that for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We can hear these sentences, but until we give ourselves times to feel it, and then times to go into it and keep learning. You know, we're not going to make perfect decisions the moment we technically understand a sentence. We have to feel it and know it, and go through a few times of the love. You know, just keep snapping. You know, and each time we learn it a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And
back
we all
to
get
this
there.
moment.
We all get there. Okay, do we want to talk about Cellsonic, love?
Well, I thought what we would do is maybe just like talk about some of the other things that we have. I mean, we did touch on the thermography, but yes, I feel that when we're talking about the love harmonic and talking about the World Healing and Training Center, one of the key components within our body work modality is the Cellsonic machine. And the Cellsonic machine, I mean, do you want to take it away, or what would you like to do? Sure.
As Andrew Haig explains, we are walking, talking batteries. And when we lack energy, our mitochondria is damaged. And so when it's damaged, it can be, what were the numbers you remember? We're supposed to spin at what?
2,500 revolutions per second. The mitochondria, and that produces our ATP.
Right.
Which is our adenosine triphosphate, which is our energy for the body.
Yeah, yeah. So when we use the Cellsonic, it goes in and it changes that vibration of those disease cells. It can stop it in its tracks. We like to do the Wolf non-surgical first to open up the area to get that good blood flow. And then we like to do the Cellsonic, and that stops that disease spin in its tracks. And because of all that good lymph flow and blood flow and energy flow, the body's then able to turn that spin into a good healthy spin. And so we can stop that disease tract disease right in its tracks. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing is that because we're vibrational beings, and then the mitochondria needs to have so we're in that split second. So it's like 25,000 volts of love harmonic.
Yeah.
And so we're actually infusing, just like the C60 with Richard. He's infusing the C60 with a love harmonic. And he's doing that at the level when he's actually producing it. And so now what we're doing with the cell sonic, it's another love harmonic. And so we're within that split second, we're changing the destiny of the cell and the mitochondria. Because that when the cell is diseased or under dis-ease, when it's got infection or disease within it or damaged, it actually, the DNA starts to go dark. And so the DNA now needs light, and so it needs all these photons. And so with the love harmonic going in, it's actually infusing the cell with all these little fireflies of light, and then the mitochondria starts to spin at the ideal revolution of 2,500 revolutions per second. And most people's mitochondria is probably only rotating at maybe 600 or 700, because we're so inflamed. The body pulls calcium from the bones to buffer down the inflammation within the cell. Those little microparticles of calcium get stuck in the spin of the mitochondria, and so it's like throwing a stone into a wheel.
Clunk, clunk, bang.
Clunk, clunk, bang. Clunk, clunk, bang.
Yeah.
Chitty, chitty, bang, bang.
I had my first cell sonic last week, and I had some pelvic work done. And the comment from the practitioner was, "Oh, we've got some calcification down here," so that, along with the calcium ionic therapy, the cell sonic will go in and it'll help put little micro cracks into the bone, and then allow the body to come in and correct that. And so it's so incredible, all the things that we can do down here.
It's encouraging. Those little microfractures are actually encouraging stem cell production.
Right.
And so, wow, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And it will also help to take the nerves and start creating new pathways and be able to unite those nerves. So when people have nerve damage, come down and see us. Yeah. And all of these energy medicine, like we've got the Bioptron, the Avicin, we've got the Wolf non-surgical, we have all these nutraceuticals, we have the Thermography, one of the best diagnostic pieces of equipment, I think, in the world, as far as specifics go. We have the bone density now. We have the cell sonic, which ends up infusing a love harmonic right at the cellular level and can change the cell in a split second. I mean, I've had it too as well, and it really helped me immensely as far as long-term issues that I was having with my body as far as calcification and blockages.
We have a lady here that got into an accident, and it was actually just walking alongside of a construction site and fell into a hole, and so her body just went into freeze mode to try to catch herself. Well, then her body just basically got stuck. And so the cell sonic, along with the calcium ion therapy, along with the Wolf non-surgical, is helping her body to realign. And I'll be walking down the street with her, and she'll be like, "Wow, it's different." Well, she hasn't walked normal for so long.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And everything's helping to get everything realigned. Yeah. Little steps along the way. It's amazing to watch people come back from these injuries and turn around chronic diseases.
And I believe that she arrived with a cane. Two canes.
2 walking canes.
Yes.
And not a walker, but 2 walking canes.
Yes. And I seem to recall that she indicated that it was like 3 treatments, or that then
She got rid of one right away.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very long until she was gone with the second one. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she got rid of both canes right after the first treatment.
It was really quick.
Her pain was done after the first treatment. And she got rid of at least one cane right after that first treatment as well. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is.
And another thing I'd like to touch on, because it was another show that Daryl ended up doing last week on show day. Was a show in regards to the vaginal infusions. Because for women, I mean, there's so much inflammation. We have so many issues as far as incontinence and prolapsing, and the vaginal infusion, and even with different like uterine cysts and ovarian cancers, all of this. It's all about inflammation. And so the vaginal infusion, there's different recipes that you can actually go in there and you can start restoring and rebuilding and bringing down the inflammation within the vaginal canal itself. And so one of the recipes is about 4 or 5 mils of the silver bullet gel with 15 or 20 to 25 drops of the nanofulvic bright eyes, along with a couple of sprays of the infinite iodine, and sprinkle a little bit of the black diamond crystals in there, as well as frankincense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so you could start off with 1 or 2. I mean, some are more sensitive to the frankincense, 1 or 2 drops, and try to build that up to 10. And that has really been instrumental in a lot of women in bringing that inflammation. And so you could do variations of that. But the real base products is the silver bullet gel with the frankincense and the nanofulvic bright eyes. And you can also add a little bit of C60 in there too as well.
Well, that's the variation, right? And I like to explain it with, try it out a few times with just a very little bit of frankincense. A, just to see how it feels, but B, just because of the mechanics of it all. And if you get a little bit of frankincense on the outside of the vagina, and it might kind of feel a little bit burny. So let's just try it out a few times and get used to, are you going to use the ear syringe? How large is your vaginal cavity? How much are you going to do? So just experiment with it for a few times, and just have extra silver bullet gel in case you do get a little bit of the frankincense on the outside and it's kind of burny. Just take some more silver bullet gel and just help clean up the area. And then when Serena mentioned adding in the C60, excellent. Just turns it into a little bit more of a liquid. And so she coupled all these things to do with the pain-free pelvic course.
Yeah, the pelvic floor.
And so she had her device. And so being that it was a bit more liquid, she put all the components in. She probably had her hips elevated, and then she put the little device in that they use in the pain-free pelvic course to help us have resistance to work those muscles. And so then that helped to hold all the solution in, because it was a bit more of a liquid situation for her. Without the C60, it still stays in its very gel-like consistency is what I'm trying to say.
And you're only putting a drop or 2 of the C60 in it because it is so powerful and it is vibrating. So watch, girls. It's vibrating. It's such a high level. Welsh ended up asking that he said that it wasn't gum rot, but he's lost loads of teeth over the years. Does that cause problem in itself in your body? Well, what ends up happening actually, Welsh, is that any organ that's been removed from our body or teeth, it still has the nerve. So the nerve has not been removed. So it will still register within the body as far as the thermography goes and these diagnostics. So your system itself is not registering that this is missing. It still has the nerves, and so it will still operate as if they were still there.
Do you mean I've lost lots of teeth over the years? Does that cause the problem in itself in your body? So I'm not sure that losing the teeth is going to cause the problem or cause a problem, but it's a result of problems.
Yeah.
So I wonder if maybe that's kind of what he meant. Yeah. But like we said, not gum rot. This is what we are actually, what Sharon was trying to communicate. We have gut rot, and it shows up as gum rot.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we were trying to say there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so if there isn't any more questions, we'll kind of finish off today.
Sure.
And really, heaven is what you make it in every present moment. And feeding our spirit. So feed your spirit and be selfish enough to love yourself unconditionally, because we can't win with
fear, false evidence appearing real.
Exactly.
Yes.
We cannot. And so for more information, you can go to the braveheartnation.com or the newworldpractitioner.com or the docofdetox.com/our services, the personal treatment and training.com, and then you can get couples personal treatment and training, non-surgical bodies restoration, pain-free pregnancy, which is really a fabulous personal treatment and training program. Deep, pelvic floor restoration. We have an upcoming show on Thursday, which is our Braveheart Women's Show, and that's at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and that is going to be called Breasts, Are They Enough?
Oh, Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Yes. And so come join us, ladies. And even there's some men that are joining us, and they're actually getting really involved in that. And so to remember to join us on the show docofdetox.com and our Facebook, of course, for our uncensored platforms is the Telegram, t.me/the Doc of Detox.
The Dr. Detox.
The Doc of Detox,
On
yes.
Telegram.
Thank you for
Yep.
that. The Rumble, the Doc of Detox, Bitchute,
Yep.
Odyssey at Doc of Detox, and Brightian Doc of Detox. So upcoming courses, you want to, that's already been taken. So
Okay, yeah, we can start here.
Yeah.
New World Practitioner, April 30th to May 8th. And then 3 days, and then it says May 11th to 22nd for the Wolf non-surgical portion. And then again in June and July, same format. Always start with the Wolf whole life coach first, then the Wolf non-surgical.
So check out those courses on the braveheartnation.com and the newworldpractitioner.com. And do we want to finish off with the Braveheart quote?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Sandra and I, you want to say it together?
Sure.
Okay, let's
Okay.
do it.
I am
I am love.
I am healed.
I am Braveheart.
Today and every day,
From the moment I rise until I gently close my eyes, I will trust, honor, respect, protect, forgive, and totally love myself unconditionally, first and foremost, before anyone else or anything else. So help me God. Because I am, I can, I am healed. I am a Braveheart goddess. Hear me roar. God bless everyone. Take your power back to heal. It's all about the global march to self-empowerment. And shall we finish it off?
Yep. Remember, 3, 2, 1, you got this.
You got this. See you next time. Bye for now.